Thank you so much, Rob. How we doing, guys? Good? I love being up on stage. I love it. It's like a power trip, you know? Thank you guys for coming. I'm excited to talk to you today about Prolion. So my name is Duncan Kennedy. I reside in North Carolina, and I help manage our North America Dell Alliance and channel ecosystem. And I'm excited to talk to you today about our solutions for Dell file storage. So for those of you that are not familiar with Prolion to date, we are a global organization focused in over 26 countries, been around for over a decade, 1,500 customers, and we recently entered into, as of last year, a global partnership with Dell, where they are actually reselling our software to help augment some of the needs for unstructured data at scale, right? So, we really focus on three main things: security, data optimization, and high availability. So I'm going to start in that order and kind of walk you through how we address each of these from a Dell storage perspective. Ransomware. It's not fun to talk about. It's been interesting, right? It's become so commoditized, and I feel like it's been around for so long, and we always saw the big news articles coming out. We kind of just stopped caring about it. We just expect it now. It's no longer a big thing when a company gets hit. So it's easy to think or get the notion that maybe ransomware is subsiding, right? It's maybe not as big of an issue as it used to be. It's just not true. So by all accounts, if you go back and look at 2024, we had some massive growth in terms of ransomware and the number of persistent threat actors, the amount of the extortions, the different types of attack methods, right? There was a 40% year-over-year increase in the amount of known persistent threat actors. Think about that. If this wasn't big business, would there be that much growth? And I don't want to sell on fear by any means, but that just means there's 40 more organizations with highly trained individuals targeting your precious data. Talking about attack methods, right? We'll get into this and some of the unstructured data growth trends, right? But there's all these different applications that you guys are trying to leverage. All of those introduce new vectors for customers to get into, or the ransomware gangs to get into, right? And so you have to think about that. It's exciting. You're trying to stay agile and competitive in your markets, right? But all of those new things that you're adding introduce new security problems and headaches for you guys. As far as target sectors, we saw a massive focus on regulated industries, right? That's where the sensitive data resides: healthcare, financial data, right? This is where they know they can charge a premium for you to get your data back. And then we actually saw the largest ransomware payment ever last year at $75 million. Pretty unbelievable, right? Now, what is fueling all this? It's the massive growth in unstructured data, right? By all accounts, we're looking at a potential of 175 zettabytes by the end of this year, 80% of which is unstructured. And you wouldn't be here at Dell Tech World if that unstructured data wasn't residing on Dell PowerScale, PowerStore, and Unity. And so with all this unstructured data, again, that's your gold, right? You're trying to gain insights. You're trying to figure out how you can leverage this data to grow your business and more optimally bring products to customers. But with that comes a lot of headaches, right? You got to manage that data. You got to figure out how to protect that data. Who owns that data? Should we buy another storage box and keep that on-prem? Do we ship it to the cloud? You know, how do I protect that data? Is it the 3-2-1 strategy? You know, the old adage, right? 3 copies of the data. Do I focus on perimeter protection, endpoint? Is that my main focus for how I protect my data? Is it backups? You know, there's the notion if I back it up, I'm protected. No, you can recover it, but you're not protecting the primary source. And maybe immutable snapshots, right? Dell's done a lot of awesome things adding in snap lock features over the last few years. Immutable snapshots are huge. More on that, how we can leverage those. But what's the correct answer? We think that all of these are absolutely necessary, but they miss the mark when it comes to protecting that critical on-prem storage. So this is where Prolion comes in. Oop, clicked it one too many times. I like to call this the Dell Data Trifecta. That's not our formal marketing slogan, but I think I got a job coming in marketing soon, so let me know. We have 3 main solutions that we go to market with for Dell to address those 3 areas that I mentioned before. So first and foremost, CryptoSpike, flagship product ransomware security and file access transparency for unstructured data. We can track every operation that's taken place by any user or service account, give you the ability to sift through this. Who's deleting these files? Who's opening this? Who's reading my critical data? Did we have a guy that just got fired and now data's missing? Well, let's go back and look at everything that he deleted. We give you all of that within CryptoSpike, not to mention that we are real-time analyzing all of that user behavior activity for known ransomware strains and encryption patterns. So again, data security, real-time, proactive at the primary storage layer. Secondly, data analyzer, sort of the inverse of CryptoSpike. CryptoSpike, we're looking at real live metadata traffic, we're analyzing user behavior, but what about all that data at rest that may be stale? You know, what if I'm trying to go back and ensure that the right people should have access to data? This is where data analyzer comes in. This is our file analytics tool. We are able to go out and crawl all files at rest and let you know who owns it, how much of it's there, is that data stale? We do hot cold analysis, capacity allocation reporting, broken ACLs, broken inheritances, permissions analysis at the folder or share level, right? This is a very cost-effective, lightweight, easy tool to understand what your data is, who owns it, and how much of it is there, right? And then lastly, ClusterLine. This is our high availability tool. This is actually the first thing we ever came to market with over 10 years ago for another vendor we won't talk about. And what we've done over the last few years is at Dell Tech World last year, we actually introduced ClusterLine for PowerStore. If you guys recall, last year they released PowerStore 4.0 or PowerStore Prime, synchronous file and block replication. You can put it in Metro Sync mode and have that automatic failover of block. Right? Dell's got that native Metro witness that allows you to automatically fail over on the block, but they did not have anything for the file or NAS servers. So we came in and said, hey, we can help you with that. So last year we unveiled ClusterLine for PowerStore automated DR orchestration, right? So CryptoSpike, automatically integrated with PowerScale, PowerStore, and Unity. Data Analyzer, the same. Last year we had ClusterLine for PowerStore. But this year, as of yesterday, we're happy to announce that we have formally gone GA with ClusterLine for PowerScale. We know that PowerScale, scale out NAS, lots of data. You're going to leverage those sync IQ policies to transfer that data over, but we have a lot of things that we need to think about, right, when we're doing this. It can be tough to know when you're supposed to trigger that failover, so we have introduced ClusterLine for PowerScale. I'm happy to touch a bit on that today for you. So, CryptoSpike, right? You got all your users, service accounts. They're mapped to the storage box. It's a black box when you think about it right now. Of course, you've got some metrics on data growth. You know, maybe you're going to see when you should buy some more drives. But in essence, if you go to the average storage admin and say, who's touching what files? You're probably not going to know that, right? It's a black box. So when, inevitably, somebody breaks into your network, gets mapped to the storage box, and drops that encryption payload, you really don't know who did what. When did the attack start? What actual devices were propagating and actually doing this attack? What files were affected? You don't know until you go and try to access something. You go, oh my gosh, this is not a .lock file. This is not a .WannaCry file. It is now, though, right? How do you go about, one, stopping that, and two, post-process figuring out exactly what took place? So this is where CryptoSpike comes in. We are a lightweight on-prem virtual appliance. We can actually deploy with just a single VM in less than an hour. Less than an hour. And the majority of that is just kind of tinkering with some configurations in the GUI. And it's a nice looking GUI, if I do say so myself. Right? So what we do is we wrap a protective bubble around your primary storage. We tap into a native API with Dell that allows us to access real-time file auditing. And we are able to detect the moment an infected client or service account, what have you, application is now trying to go and encrypt those files. One, because we're analyzing for both known ransomware extensions and encryption patterns, we're able to detect known ransomware attacks with no more than 5 files affected. So all your .lock bits, your .WannaCries, your .777s, if you are hit with a known ransomware attack, we can detect and stop that with no more than 5 files affected. What about the sophisticated ones, the ransomware, zero-day exploits, all right? Obviously, those aren't going to be picked up by a block list of known ransomware, so we actually analyze user traffic for known metadata encryption patterns. So we are able to detect and block all known ransomware strains and extensions in less than 10 seconds with less than 100 files affected. and then we can actually block that user out. We can show you exactly when the attack started. We can show you exactly what user SID or IP address was doing this, and show you an immediate blast radius assessment. Not to mention, after we block that user, we can send alerts via syslog, ServiceNow, Microsoft Teams, Slack channels. We can alert your organization 6 ways from Sunday. You guys can go automate how you want to respond to this at the network layer beyond that, but you know that we have blocked that user out and your data is safe with little to no encrypted files, right? So, again, real-time ransomware security, live file access auditing with CryptoSpike. Next, we got Data Analyzer, right? It's pretty simple but very effective tool. We can also deploy in a single VM here. We go out and we crawl all of that data at rest, pull all of the metadata into a database, run a bunch of queries on it, and have about 36 pre-baked custom reports. Again, hot cold analysis, capacity allocation. Maybe you want to do a little bit of chargebacks. You can actually run these scans week to week, month to month, and see the changes, the deltas between the two. We can see permissions analysis. We do integrate with Active Directory here. We can show you permissions at the share or folder level. We can show you suspicious AD reports, right? Do I have disabled accounts that are still mapped to the storage system? Do I have AD users without passwords expiring? Show you all that. We can even take the block list of known ransomware with CryptoSpike and tell you if you have any of those files currently written on your system today. I can't tell you how many customers we've deployed this. They bought a company 6 years ago, migrated all the data over, and we're finding old ransom notes from past attacks via the suspicious files reports. And then on top of that, you have just the central file catalog. You want to go pull a report of everything in this share that was created during this date but not accessed this time. Bam, you can do that, pull that report and export it in seconds for you to go back and take to your team and do what you want, right, with that data. And then lastly, ClusterLine for PowerScale. Our new product release, I encourage all of you to head to our booth after this. We got live demos. It's a super slick interface. Would love to show you guys exactly how this works. And much like our other products, we can deploy it in a single VM in less than an hour, about 30 minutes, give or take. And effectively what we're going to do is access zone and sync IQ failover automation. Right? So we're going to be able to automatically sync your data configurations per access zone from your source to the destination cluster automatically. We can actually trigger a full switchover of the sync IQ policies individually or the entire access zone and all the sync IQ policies underneath with a single click of a button, right? Staples, easy button. We have out-of-box support for various networking. This is something that when we were talking with customers in the field, some of you guys do it with dual delegation, or we call that smart connect zone failover. You guys use DFS, maybe IP pool switchover. We even have customers that are like, no, I want to fail the data over, but we're going to handle on the back end our network mapping. So you can even select not to do a network failover, right? We give you that flexibility to decide exactly how you want to trigger this access zone failover from your source to your primary clusters. And what's really cool, this is one of my favorite features. I'm a sales guy, so I like things that show colors and updates. So we have every 10 minutes a continual readiness check. You guys might know this as a health check. All of our solutions are a la carte. If you want one, we're not going to trap you into buying all three. You pick and choose. Maybe you only need file analytics. Maybe you only need high availability. Maybe you only need ransomware security. Fine, do that. Very simple licensing model. We actually do per node or per appliance licensing. We don't care about capacity. We're not going to come chase you for true ups because you added some drives, right? You got one PowerStore appliance? Cool. License that one PowerStore. You got a 6-node PowerScale cluster? Cool. Buy 6 nodes. You get another node? Cool. Just add one more node onto that license. All of our SKUs are in the Dell price book today. If you guys are buying from Dell Direct or buying from a partner, you guys can ask them to license or price this out for you guys today if you wanted. We have RBAC and multi-tenancy capabilities. This is big, right? These tools bridge the gap between storage and security silos. I know for years it was like, hey, I'm a storage guy. I could care less about security. I'm a security guy. I don't care anything about a LUN, right? That's not the case with ransomware. There's been this forced move into having to bring this to the forefront and have both teams work together. With RBAC capabilities, you're able to give storage teams, help desk, security folks all access to CryptoSpike with their own set of permissions. They can go in and do what they need to do for all of our products as well. What you'll notice, if you please come over to the booth after and catch a demo, everything we have is extremely customizable. All of our tools are built on the API-first architecture. There's a Swagger UI. You can automate any piece of our tools with the single script there to automate that. And again, I can't harp on it enough. All of our tools can be deployed in less than an hour. So, come by the booth. And thank you guys.
All right, everyone. Yes, let's give Duncan a big round of applause. Did you have a question, sir?
Yeah, questions? I don't know if we got time.
We have time for one question.
Okay. DoD Intelligence Community Support. Right now, we are actively working with DISA. We're going through some APL stuff. We do not have APL right now, but it's being worked on. What? We're working on it. It's not a quick process. I'll tell you that. It's not cheap either. I didn't think it would be as much as it costs, but man, it's a lot of money. So. Cool. Hey, well, thank you guys. I know we ran out of time for questions because I talked too much. But if you have them, please stop by the booth. We got some pretty cool bottle openers. They're like credit card bottle openers that are metal. So if you want a little extra weight in the wallet, never get, I like twist offs, but those pop off ones can get me sometimes. Keep that thing in the wallet, you're good to go.
All right, and don't
thank you
forget,
guys.
everyone, we are going to have a wrap